Okay, this is Orlando Wilson. What I want to talk about in this video is something to do with hotel security, travel security in general. And that's what to look for when you're selecting a hotel, or even these days selecting an Airbnb, etc., selecting somewhere to stay. I got other videos up about hotel security, internal security for the hotel, etc. But in this video I want to talk about initially selecting somewhere to stay. Now, over the years, I've spent time in 5-star hotels to no-star hotels to Airbnbs, etc. And for large portions of my life, I spent my life traveling. So I go from one hotel to one Airbnb to another Airbnb, back to hotels, etc. So I understand things just a little bit. Now, when you're selecting hotels, and this is one thing if you're selecting for yourself, the issues I've seen with a lot of corporate travelers is they tend to have other people selecting the hotels for them. Somebody within their company, there could be an executive as personal assistant, or the actual corporation will farm things out to a travel company, etc. So they have little say in where they're actually going to be staying. You got some travel company that could have deals with certain hotel chains, etc., and they're the ones that's choosing the hotels for the executives, for the travelers. The trouble is with a lot of travel companies, they're thinking about profit. They're not thinking so much about security, especially client security. It doesn't tend to come into their considerations. They'll go to a major hotel chain or a major hotel and they'll take it for granted that that hotel is secure, whereas a lot of hotels are not that secure. But that's what they have insurance for. If there's a problem, it's not their problem. They just pass it on to the insurance company and let them deal with any lawsuits, etc., etc. This is where, if somebody is selecting your hotels, you need really, before you actually travel and stay in that hotel, find out where the hotel is and do your own basic threat assessment on that hotel. Now, you could be staying in a 5-star hotel, but what area is that hotel in? I know one guy who would come through my courses when I was in the US said, yeah, his corporation chose him a very nice hotel, and this was in Latin America, but he was very, how can I put it, little bit concerned because that hotel was right next to a police barracks, which some people could say, okay, we're right next to a police barracks, we're safe. But he said the issue was in that country at the time, there was a terrorist threat and the terrorists were targeting the police. So him having his hotel right next to what could be classed as a prime target for the terrorists, a police barracks, wasn't the best place to be. There's been numerous cases where there's been issues, and one place comes to mind again in Latin America, where the local gangbangers, their gang war between the local gangs spread over into the hotel, and it turned into a big shootout and a hostage situation, etc. Why? That very, very nice hotel was surrounded by barrios, favelas, etc., and wasn't in the best of neighborhoods. The same goes for if you're selecting Airbnbs. You might get a nice Airbnb, but what area is it in? It might be a very nice apartment, a very nice house, but what's it like in the surrounding areas? So this is where you have to do your threat assessments. Not just are we thinking about the security aspect, but what about the logistical aspect? I know of one gentleman who's most probably going to be watching this video that picked a very nice Airbnb in a developing country. But the roads to that location were, how can we put it, horrendous. And if it rained, those roads would be only passable by a 4x4. Also, in that area where this very nice Airbnb was, there was no shops, there was no logistics, etc. Generally, where I'm choosing places, especially Airbnbs, the first thing I'm doing when I find a nice apartment, if I don't know the areas, is look around that area, and you can do this by using Google Maps. Just have a look around the area and see what facilities are in the area. Are there supermarkets? Are there Western Unions? Are there whatever you need to check to see if they're in that area. Is there public transport in that area? This gentleman had issues because this location, it would be very difficult to even get taxis to go there because the roads were so bad. So this is where, when you're choosing an area, when you're choosing that, be it a hotel, an Airbnb, not only check out the location, check out the hotel, check out the apartment, not just their reviews, but also look to see what areas they're in. I remember a few years ago, I picked one hotel. It was close to an area I needed to meet people with. But again, I thought, well, on the maps, on Google, it showed there was a shopping mall next to this place, and I thought, okay, this place is a little bit out the way, but I'll have access to shops, somewhere to grab a coffee, etc. Well, that shopping mall was closed 6 months before I turned up. So I was stuck in a hotel that was out the way with not really much to do, apart from sit in a hotel room. But again, this is where, do your research on the location, on not just the hotel, not just the reviews of the hotel or the Airbnb, but check the areas, check the crime statistics, have a look around on the street views, see what conditions the roads are in, see where there's supermarkets, make sure there's public transport, make sure the communications is good, etc. So do your research before you pick somewhere. It's not just looking at the nice pictures on whatever you're using to book your hotel, but also have a look around the general areas to make sure there's good travel routes, good logistics in that area, or anything you might need. So again, just a little bit of advice on choosing locations. I've got a few more videos up on hotel security, so follow me along on social media. I have one book up specifically that talks about travel security on Amazon. Being in my business, the close protection security business, traveling and travel management comes as part of the package. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, follow me along on social media, check out my website, blog. There's articles up there on travel security, and also check out the videos we got up on the mainstream social media platforms. And again, as I said, you got any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I will get back to you in time. Be good, stay safe, and as always, try to stay out of trouble.